March 15, 2021. The biting chill of early spring lingered in the air as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over Cedar Creek Road. It was a desolate stretch of highway in the heart of Cedar Hill County, Pennsylvania, quiet, unassuming, and far from the bustling suburb of Westwood. For the locals, it was the kind of road one rarely ventured down unless they had to. But that evening, it became the epicenter of a horrific discovery. Walter Briggs, a retired school teacher and habitual evening walker, ambled along the roadside. His cane clicked rhythmically against the pavement as he surveyed the barren landscape. Ahead, something caught his eye, a large, dark duffel bag lying awkwardly in the ditch. At first glance, it seemed like just another piece of discarded trash, left to rot in the shadows of the woods. Yet, something about the way it slumped unnerved him. The bag looked too heavy, too deliberate in its placement. Walter's steps faltered as an inexplicable sense of dread washed over him. Swallowing hard, he edged closer, his heart pounding against his ribs. The smell hit him first, sharp, metallic, unmistakably wrong. He staggered back, his hand instinctively flying to his phone. 911, what's your emergency? The dispatcher's voice cut through the stillness. I think there's something in that bag, Walter stammered, the words barely escaping his lips. Within minutes, flashing blue and red lights illuminated the quiet road. Officer Helen Parker arrived first, her boots crunching against the gravel as she approached the suspicious bag. She hesitated, radioing for backup, but the growing stench left no room for doubt. With gloved hands, she gripped the zipper and pulled it open. The sight inside would haunt her forever. A mutilated body lay crumpled within, its parts grotesquely arranged to fit the confines of the bag. The face was unrecognizable, the skin pale and lifeless. Officer Parker stumbled back, her breath caught in her throat. The victim was a young woman, her youth betrayed by the delicate fingers peeking from beneath the folds of a blood-stained jacket. The scene screamed of rage, violence, and something deeply personal. By the time Detective Mitchell arrived, the site had been cordoned off. He crouched beside the bag, his sharp eyes scanning every detail. Whoever did this didn't want her found quickly, he muttered to Parker, his voice grim. They chose this road for a reason. The investigation moved swiftly as forensic teams descended upon the area. Hair fibers, soil samples, and fingerprints were collected, each piece of evidence telling fragments of a horrific story. Hours later, the victim's identity was confirmed. Anna Hughes, a 21-year-old woman reported missing 2 days earlier by her mother, Emma Carter. The revelation sent shockwaves through Cedar Hill County. Anna wasn't just another missing person, she was the daughter of one of Westwood's most prominent families. Her stepfather, James Carter, was a respected businessman, and her mother, Emma, was known for her charity work in the community. The Carter-Hughes family had always seemed picture-perfect, an image now shattered beyond repair. Detective Mitchell stood by his car, the cold air biting at his face as he reviewed the initial findings. He glanced back at the bag, now sealed and ready for transport to the morgue. This wasn't random, he said, almost to himself. This is just the beginning. Unbeknownst to him, the shadows of the Carter-Hughes family harbored secrets darker than the night itself. Secrets that would soon unravel, tearing apart everything in their path. The morning after the grim discovery, Cedar Hill County was buzzing with the news. Body found on Cedar Creek Road blared across every local headline. For the Carter-Hughes family, the world had abruptly tilted on its axis. Emma Carter sat at her kitchen table in their sprawling colonial home in Westwood, her hands trembling as she clutched her phone. The officer's voice from the night before still echoed in her mind, "Ma'am, we've identified the remains. It's your daughter, Anna Hughes. I'm so sorry." James Carter stood across the room, his face a mask of stoic composure, but the tension in his shoulders betrayed him. A man accustomed to control, James wasn't used to situations spiraling beyond his grasp. His wife's sobs pierced the quiet, shattering the carefully constructed facade of their home. He crossed the room and placed a hand on her shoulder, his tone firm yet soft. "We'll get through this," he said, though the words rang hollow even to him. Emma shook her head, tears streaking her face. "She was just a girl, James. My baby girl. How could this happen?" James had no answer. He turned his gaze out the window, his mind already racing. He thought of Anna, the spirited 21-year-old who had always been a whirlwind in their otherwise orderly life. She had her mother's fiery determination and a streak of independence that often bordered on reckless. He had clashed with her more than once over her choices, her friends, her defiance, her insistence on keeping her life private. But none of that explained how she had ended up mutilated and stuffed into a bag. Underscore 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 underscore. As news of Anna's death spread, the Carter Hughes family quickly became the focus of community whispers. Westwood was a place where appearances mattered, and the Carter Hughes family had always been at the top of the social hierarchy. James, a successful financial consultant, was admired for his sharp intellect and philanthropy. Emma, with her warm demeanor and dedication to local charities, was equally respected. Together, they were the picture of suburban success. But behind closed doors, the family was anything but perfect. Underscore 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 underscore. Peter Carter, James' son from his first marriage, leaned against the doorframe of his bedroom, his face pale. At 23, Peter had always been the reserved one, polite, respectful, and detached. He hadn't been close to Anna, and he had made that clear from the beginning. "She's just different," he'd once told his father. "We don't click." But now, as he stared at his reflection in the mirror, Peter felt a knot tighten in his stomach. He remembered the last conversation he'd had with Anna. It hadn't been pleasant. Her voice, sharp and accusing, still echoed in his ears. "You think you're so much better than everyone else, don't you? That you can control everything? Well, newsflash, Peter, you don't." The memory sent a chill down his spine. Underscore 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 underscore. Detective Mitchell, now heading the investigation, arrived at the Carter home that afternoon. The quiet hum of the neighborhood seemed to pause as his unmarked car pulled into the driveway. Emma met him at the door, her face pale and tear-streaked. "We need to ask some questions about Anna," Mitchell said gently, his notebook in hand. Emma nodded and led him into the living room, where James was already seated, his expression unreadable. "Do you know where Anna was the day she went missing?" Mitchell asked. Emma swallowed hard. "She told me she was going to see Andrew, her ex-boyfriend. But she didn't say much more." James chimed in, his voice calm. "Anna was private, Detective. She didn't share a lot with us, even with her mother." Mitchell's gaze shifted. "What about you, Mr. Carter? Did you notice anything unusual? Was Anna acting strange before she disappeared?" James hesitated for a fraction of a second. "Not that I recall. I was at work all day on March 13th. Emma interjected, her voice trembling. She seemed fine. I mean, she wasn't herself, but she had been arguing with Peter the night before. Mitchell's pen paused mid-sentence. Peter? He asked, looking up. He's upstairs, James said quickly, his tone defensive. He and Anna weren't close, but that's hardly relevant. Mitchell nodded but made a mental note. I'll need to speak with him. Underscore 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 underscore. As Mitchell climbed the stairs to Peter's room, the tension in the house was palpable. Peter sat on the edge of his bed, his fingers drumming against his knee. When Mitchell knocked, he jumped slightly but composed himself quickly. Peter Carter? Mitchell asked, stepping inside. Peter nodded. That's me. I understand you and Anna had an argument recently, Mitchell began. Peter's jaw tightened. We argued sometimes, like any siblings. But it was nothing serious. Mitchell's sharp eyes didn't waver. Where were you on the afternoon of March 13th, Peter? Peter's gaze flickered to the floor, just for a moment, but it was enough. I was at a friend's place, he said. We were hanging out. Can anyone verify that? Mitchell pressed. Peter hesitated again before nodding. Yeah, of course. I'll give you their names. But as Mitchell walked back down the stairs, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The cracks in the Carter-Hughes family story were already beginning to show. And he had a nagging suspicion that Peter Carter was hiding something. Detective Mitchell's instincts were rarely wrong. As he left the Carter-Hughes home that day, the weight of Peter's hesitation and the fragmented details from Emma and James gnawed at him. There was something deeply unsettling about this family, a polished exterior concealing fractures just beneath the surface. Underscore 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 underscore. Peter Carter sat in his room, the air thick with tension. His mind raced, replaying every moment of the past few days. He hated the way Mitchell's questions lingered, as though the detective could see through him. Why did Anna have to push me like that? He thought bitterly. The last conversation with Anna resurfaced in his mind, vivid and unrelenting. She had come to his room 2 nights before she disappeared, her face streaked with tears. Peter, she had said, her voice trembling. We need to talk. I don't have time for this, Anna, he had replied, turning his back to her. You're running away, like always, she snapped. You think you can just avoid me? After everything? Peter had spun around, his temper flaring. Avoid you? I'm trying to keep this family from falling apart. You don't think about anyone but yourself. Anna's face hardened. You think this is about the family? It's about us, Peter. You can't keep pretending like nothing happened. Peter's stomach churned at the memory. The argument had spiraled, both of them saying things they couldn't take back. Now, Anna was gone, and the weight of that final encounter bore down on him like a vice. Underscore 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 underscore. Downstairs, James Carter stood in his study, staring at an old photograph on his desk. It was from 10 years ago, a moment frozen in time, him, his late wife Natalie, and a much younger Peter. The smiles were genuine then, untouched by the complexities that would come later. The knock at his door startled him. Emma stepped inside, her face still pale but her demeanor firmer than before. "James," she began, her voice low. "Do you think Peter had anything to do with this?" James's eyes narrowed. "What kind of question is that?" "He's our son." Emma crossed her arms, her gaze unwavering. "He's your son, James. And he and Anna, they never got along. You know that." James turned away, his jaw tightening. Peter wouldn't hurt her. Whatever issues they had, he's not capable of something like this. "Are you sure?" Emma pressed, her voice cracking. "Because I don't know what to believe anymore." James hesitated, the words stuck in his throat. "I'm sure," he said finally, though the certainty in his voice was feigned. Underscore 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 underscore. Meanwhile, Detective Mitchell was back at the station, poring over files and evidence collected from the crime scene. The autopsy report had just come in, and it painted a grim picture. Anna had died from suffocation before her body was dismembered. The cuts were precise, almost methodical, pointing to someone who had taken their time. Mitchell tapped his pen against the table, deep in thought. Whoever killed Anna hadn't acted on impulse alone, there was calculation involved. The killer had wanted to send a message, or at the very least, make sure she wasn't found easily. He turned his attention to Peter's alibi. Peter had claimed he was at a friend's house during the time of Anna's disappearance, but when Mitchell contacted the names Peter provided, inconsistencies emerged. Two of the friends outright denied seeing Peter that day. "Lying isn't helping your case, Peter," Mitchell muttered under his breath. Underscore 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 underscore. Later that evening, Mitchell decided to revisit the Carter Hughes residence, this time unannounced. The house was quieter than before, its warm glow now replaced by an eerie stillness. Emma answered the door, visibly surprised. "Detective," she said cautiously. "What brings you back?" "I need to speak with Peter again," Mitchell replied, his tone firm. "There are some inconsistencies in his statements." Emma's face faltered, but she stepped aside. Mitchell climbed the stairs to Peter's room, his footsteps deliberate and heavy. Peter answered the knock with visible unease, his arms crossed over his chest. "Detective," he said stiffly. "I already told you everything." "Not quite," Mitchell replied, stepping inside. "Your friends couldn't confirm your alibi. In fact, they said they hadn't seen you at all on March 13th. Peter's face blanched. "They're wrong. Maybe they forgot." Mitchell raised an eyebrow. "Or maybe you weren't there at all." Peter's jaw tightened, and for a moment, it looked as though he might explode. But then he exhaled sharply, shaking his head. "I don't know what to tell you." "You can start by telling me the truth," Mitchell pressed. "Where were you that day? And what happened between you and Anna?" Peter's eyes darted to the floor. "We argued, okay," he admitted reluctantly. "She came into my room, and we argued. But that's it. She left, and I didn't see her again." Mitchell leaned closer, his voice lowering. "Peter, you're hiding something. And the more you hide, the worse it looks. If there's something you want to say, now's the time." But Peter remained silent, his fists clenched at his sides. Mitchell straightened, his gaze unwavering. "This isn't going away, Peter. I'll be back." As Mitchell left, Peter collapsed onto his bed, his mind a storm of panic and guilt. In the quiet of his room, the shadows seemed to grow darker, pressing in on him. And somewhere in those shadows, the truth waited to be uncovered. The days that followed Anna's discovery brought an unrelenting spotlight onto the Carter Hughes family. The once praised Westwood icons were now the center of gossip and suspicion. Whispers floated through the community, hushed conversations in coffee shops, side glances at the grocery store, murmurs in PTA meetings. Everyone had their theories, and none of them painted the family in a flattering light. Detective Mitchell, however, was less interested in public opinion and more focused on the unraveling web of secrets within the Carter Hughes household. By now, his doubts about Peter had only deepened, and James Carter's seemingly composed demeanor struck him as equally suspicious. Something about the family's dynamic felt off, too measured, too controlled, as if everyone was guarding their own corner of the truth. Underscore 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 underscore. Emma Carter sat in the dimly lit living room, her hands cradling a cup of untouched tea. The silence in the house felt oppressive, a void left by Anna's absence. Every corner reminded her of her daughter, the empty chair at the table, the abandoned sneakers by the door. But Emma couldn't shake the nagging feeling that there was more to Anna's death than anyone was admitting. Her thoughts drifted back to the night before Anna disappeared. Emma had noticed her daughter pacing in her room, phone clutched tightly in hand. Anna had seemed agitated, her voice sharp as she argued with someone on the other end. When Emma had asked what was wrong, Anna had brushed her off with a forced smile. "It's nothing, Mom. Just some drama with Andrew," Anna had said. But Emma knew her daughter well enough to sense when something was truly wrong. Now, as she stared into the darkened room, Emma whispered to herself, "What were you hiding, Anna?" Underscore 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 underscore. Upstairs, Peter Carter was in his own battle with his conscience. The walls of his room seemed to close in, the air thick with unspoken truths. He hadn't slept since Mitchell's second visit, his mind replaying every moment of that fateful night. He remembered Anna standing in his doorway, her arms crossed and her eyes blazing. "I'm done with this, Peter. We need to end this charade before it destroys us both." Peter had scoffed, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Now you want to be the moral one? That's rich, coming from you." The argument had escalated quickly, their voices growing louder, angrier. Anna had threatened to expose their secret to Emma, to the world if necessary. "I won't let you ruin my life," she had shouted, her words cutting through Peter like a knife. And then there was the knock at the door, James, interrupting their fight. "Is everything okay in there?" his father had called out. Peter had frozen, panic surging through him. Anna had glared at him, her expression a mixture of frustration and disappointment. "You'll regret this," she had whispered before storming out. Now, sitting on the edge of his bed, Peter felt the weight of those words pressing down on him. He hadn't meant for things to spiral out of control. But the fear of what Anna might reveal had clouded his judgment, leading him to make decisions he could never undo. Underscore 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 underscore. Detective Mitchell was methodically piecing together the fragments of Anna's life. He had interviewed Andrew Harris again, probing deeper into their relationship. Andrew admitted they had fought often in the weeks leading up to Anna's death, but he vehemently denied any involvement. She was stressed, Andrew had said. She talked about family stuff, about Peter. Said he was acting weird. That detail stuck with Mitchell. It was becoming increasingly clear that Peter was a key figure in the puzzle, and yet, the young man's hesitance to cooperate made it difficult to decipher the full picture. The break in the case came late one evening when the forensic team delivered their latest findings. Blood traces on a pillow found in Peter's room matched Anna's DNA. The knife discovered in the Carter kitchen bore faint but undeniable evidence of blood as well. These findings weren't just circumstantial. They were damning. Mitchell didn't hesitate. Armed with a warrant, he returned to the Carter Hughes residence the next morning. This time, he wasn't leaving without answers. Underscore 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 underscore. The sound of the doorbell echoed through the house, breaking the fragile silence. Emma opened the door, her face pale as she took in Mitchell's grave expression. "What is it now, detective?" she asked, her voice a mix of exhaustion and dread. "We have evidence," Mitchell said, stepping inside. "Evidence that links Peter to Anna's death. I need to speak with him immediately." Emma's face crumpled, her hand flying to her mouth. "No," she whispered. Peter wouldn't, he couldn't. But Mitchell's resolve didn't waver. He climbed the stairs, each step heavy with anticipation. When he knocked on Peter's door, there was no answer. He pushed it open to find the room empty, the window slightly ajar. Mitchell's chest tightened. "He's gone," he muttered, rushing to the window. Outside, the faint sound of an engine roared to life in the distance. Peter Carter was running, and Mitchell knew that whatever secrets he carried, they were too heavy for him to face. Back in the living room, Emma collapsed into a chair, tears streaming down her face. James stood behind her, his hands gripping the back of her chair, his knuckles white. "This isn't over," Mitchell said, turning to James. "Not by a long shot." The cracks in the Carter Hughes facade were no longer just visible, they were gaping wounds, threatening to expose everything they had fought so hard to hide. Peter Carter wasn't running far, he didn't have a plan, just an overwhelming need to escape the suffocating pressure building around him. His car sped down the winding back roads of Westwood, Pennsylvania, the headlights slicing through the darkness. The air inside the car was thick with tension, his hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles turned white. He could hear Anna's voice in his head, taunting him, accusing him, her last words a haunting echo, "You'll regret this." But Peter wasn't the only one unraveling. Back at the Carter Hughes home, Emma Carter sat hunched over on the living room sofa, her body trembling with silent sobs. James stood by the window, staring into the night with a blank expression, his jaw set tight. The image of their perfect family was now irreparably shattered. Detective Mitchell, however, wasn't one to sit idle. The evidence pointed squarely at Peter, but Mitchell knew this case wasn't as simple as it seemed. Every layer he peeled back on the Carter Hughes family revealed another layer of secrets, and he wasn't convinced Peter had acted alone, or even intentionally. Underscore 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 underscore. Hours later, Peter's car came to an abrupt stop in the parking lot of a closed diner on the outskirts of Cedar Hill County. He sat motionless, his chest heaving as he tried to collect himself. His phone buzzed on the passenger seat, the screen lighting up with a dozen missed calls from his father. He stared at it, his heart pounding. The urge to pick up was strong, but so was the fear of what awaited him if he did. Peter's mind raced back to the night of March 13th. He had replayed the events 100 times, searching for a way to justify what had happened. He remembered the heated argument with Anna, the anger that had boiled over, and the terrible, irreversible mistake that had followed. But was it truly a mistake? Or had some part of him wanted to silence Anna forever? That thought gnawed at him, twisting his stomach into knots. He leaned back in his seat, closing his eyes as guilt clawed at the edges of his sanity. Underscore 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 underscore. Meanwhile, Mitchell and his team were scrambling to track Peter's whereabouts. The open window in Peter's room suggested he had bolted in a hurry, but they had no leads on where he might have gone. Mitchell ordered a search of the area, focusing on places Peter was known to frequent. It wasn't long before they found Peter's abandoned car in the diner parking lot. Inside, they discovered his phone, left deliberately on the passenger seat. Forensics noted faint smudges on the screen, a clear sign Peter had been scrolling through old text messages before fleeing. When Mitchell accessed the phone, he found a conversation between Peter and Anna from the night of March 13th. The messages were terse, laced with tension. "Anna, we can't keep pretending, Peter. This has to stop. Peter, don't you dare say anything to Mom. You don't understand what this could do to her. Anna, maybe she deserves to know the truth. Peter, if you say anything, I swear." The final message ended abruptly, as though Peter had been interrupted. Mitchell stared at the screen, his brow furrowed. This wasn't just an argument, it was a ticking time bomb. And Peter's sudden flight only made things worse. Underscore 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 underscore. Back at the Carter Hughes home, Emma confronted James for the first time since Peter's disappearance. "You knew, didn't you?" Emma's voice was sharp, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. James turned to her, his expression unreadable. "Knew what?" "About Peter and Anna," Emma pressed. "About their relationship. You had to have known." James's face hardened, his voice dropping. "I suspected," he admitted after a long pause. "But I didn't know it had gone this far." Emma recoiled as if he had struck her. "You suspected and didn't say anything?" "James, she was my daughter. You could have stopped this." "I thought it was just a phase," James said defensively. "Something they'd grow out of." "I didn't think." "You didn't think," Emma cut him off, her voice trembling with rage. "You didn't care enough to step in and stop them before it destroyed everything." James opened his mouth to respond, but no words came. The weight of Emma's accusations, and his own guilt, hung heavy in the room. Underscore 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 underscore. At the diner, the trail led Mitchell to a nearby wooded area. His team combed through the trees with flashlights, the beams cutting through the darkness like knives. Mitchell's gut told him Peter was close, but finding him in the vast expanse was like searching for a needle in a haystack. Suddenly, one of the officers called out, "Over here." Mitchell jogged over, his breath visible in the cold night air. Beneath a cluster of trees, they found Peter sitting against a trunk, his knees drawn to his chest. His face was pale, his eyes red and swollen from crying. He looked up at Mitchell with an expression of resigned defeat. "I didn't mean to hurt her," Peter whispered, his voice hoarse. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." Mitchell crouched down, his gaze steady. "Then tell me what did happen, Peter. Tell me the truth." Peter buried his face in his hands, his body shaking with quiet sobs. "It wasn't supposed to end like this," he murmured. "But I couldn't stop it." She wouldn't stop. Mitchell's jaw tightened, his mind racing with possibilities. Peter's confession was just the beginning, a thread that, when pulled, would unravel the darkest secrets of the Carter Hughes family. And Mitchell was determined to uncover them all. Peter Carter's whispered confession was enough to halt the frantic search through the woods. The officers surrounding him exchanged uneasy glances, but Detective Mitchell remained calm, crouched just a few feet away. The young man before him looked utterly defeated, his once composed demeanor shattered. For the first time, Mitchell saw not just a suspect, but a person overwhelmed by guilt, fear, and secrets too heavy to bear. Underscore 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 underscore. At the station, Peter sat slumped in an interrogation room, his face pale under the harsh fluorescent lights. Mitchell stepped in, placing a cup of water on the table. He didn't speak right away, he simply watched Peter, letting the silence fill the room. Finally, Peter broke. "It wasn't supposed to happen," he murmured, his voice barely audible. Mitchell leaned forward. "What wasn't supposed to happen, Peter? Talk to me." Peter took a shaky breath, his eyes fixed on the table. "Anna came to my room that night. March 13th. She was upset, angry. She said she was done hiding, that she was going to tell Mom everything." Mitchell's pen hovered over his notebook. "What was she going to tell your mother?" Peter hesitated, his jaw tightening. "About us. About what had been going on between us." Mitchell kept his expression neutral, though his pulse quickened. "Go on." "She blamed me," Peter continued, his voice cracking. "She said I was the one who kept it going, that I was the reason everything was falling apart. But it wasn't just me. She wanted it too, at first. And then she just flipped, like she hated me for everything." Mitchell pressed gently, "What happened next?" Peter's hands trembled as he rubbed them together. "We argued. It got bad. I told her to leave, to just walk away, but she wouldn't stop yelling. She said I was a coward, that I was too afraid of what Dad would think." He swallowed hard, his gaze darting to Mitchell for the first time. "Then she said something about him. She said Dad wasn't as perfect as he seemed. She said she had proof, something about Mom." Mitchell's brow furrowed. "Your mom? Or Anna's mom, Natalie?" "Natalie," Peter whispered. She said Dad had lied about something big, something that could ruin him. Mitchell leaned back, his mind racing. And what did you do? Peter closed his eyes tightly, his voice trembling. I lost it. I grabbed the pillow off my bed. I just wanted her to stop screaming. I didn't mean to. His voice broke, and he buried his face in his hands. Underscore 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 underscore. Mitchell left the interrogation room, his thoughts churning. Peter's confession had shed light on the tragic events of March 13, but it also raised new questions. What was Anna planning to reveal about James Carter? And how far would James have gone to keep his secrets buried? Underscore 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 underscore. Back at the Carter Hughes home, Emma stood in the kitchen, staring blankly at the window. The house felt unbearably empty. When the phone rang, she jumped, fumbling to answer it. Mrs. Carter, this is Detective Mitchell, the voice on the other end said. We've spoken with Peter. I need to come by to discuss some developments. Emma's voice wavered. Is he okay? He's cooperating, Mitchell replied carefully. But there's more to this case than we initially thought. I'll explain everything in person. Underscore 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 underscore. By the time Mitchell arrived, Emma had barely composed herself. James, however, was calm, standing near the fireplace with his arms crossed. What's this about, detective? James asked, his tone clipped. Mitchell set his briefcase on the table and opened it, pulling out a stack of evidence. Peter has confessed to his role in Anna's death. He admitted to suffocating her during an argument. Emma gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. No, he wouldn't. Mitchell's voice softened. He says it wasn't intentional. But there's more. Peter mentioned something Anna said that night, about you, Mr. Carter. James's expression didn't change, but Emma turned to him, confusion etched on her face. What is he talking about, James? Mitchell continued, his gaze locked on James. Peter claims Anna was going to reveal a secret about you. Something related to Natalie Carter. James's face darkened, his jaw clenching. That's absurd. Anna was an angry, confused girl. She'd say anything to get a reaction. Emma's voice sharpened. What is he talking about, James? Did Anna know something about you and Natalie? James hesitated, his composure slipping for the first time. It's nothing. Old history, things that don't matter anymore. Emma's voice rose. Clearly, it mattered to Anna. What aren't you telling me? Mitchell watched the exchange carefully. Whatever Anna knew, it seems to have been important enough to provoke this tragedy. I'd advise you to think carefully about what you're keeping from us, Mr. Carter. Secrets have a way of surfacing. James's eyes flicked to the detective, his anger barely contained. This is a witch hunt, he snapped. My son is being dragged through the mud because Anna had a grudge against this family. That's all this is. Mitchell didn't back down. If that's the case, then you have nothing to worry about. But if there's more, it will come out, whether you want it to or not. Underscore 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 underscore. As Mitchell left the house, he couldn't shake the feeling that James Carter was hiding something critical. Peter's confession might have provided answers about Anna's death, but the mystery surrounding James loomed larger than ever. And Mitchell knew he was running out of time to uncover the truth. The Carter Hughes home was no longer a sanctuary but a house of cards trembling on the edge of collapse. Detective Mitchell had left, but his words lingered like a storm cloud over the family. Emma Carter sat silently in the living room, her gaze fixed on the fireplace. James stood nearby, his fists clenched, the weight of his secrets pressing heavily on his shoulders. Underscore 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 underscore. The following morning, Mitchell arrived at the station to find a new piece of evidence waiting for him. A colleague had located an old email thread on Anna's laptop, recovered from her room. The emails were between Anna and a private investigator, a name Mitchell recognized. The thread was chillingly direct. "Anna, I need to know what happened before my mom married James Carter. There's something he's not telling us. P.I. I've found some documents. There was a police report involving Natalie Carter before her death. I'll send you the details soon." Mitchell's pulse quickened. Natalie's death had been ruled a tragic accident, a sudden car crash. But Anna's insistence and the discovery of a police report painted a darker picture. What had Anna uncovered about James, and had it ultimately cost her life? Underscore 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 underscore. At the Carter Hughes home, Emma's patience finally snapped. She confronted James, her voice trembling with anger and grief. "Enough, James. No more lies. No more excuses. What aren't you telling me?" she demanded, tears streaming down her face. James hesitated, his eyes darting toward the door as if calculating an escape. But there was no escape now, not from this. "Fine," he said finally, his voice low. "You want the truth? Natalie didn't die in that car crash by accident." Emma froze, her breath catching. What are you saying?" James took a step closer, his face twisted with a mix of guilt and defiance. "We were fighting that night. She found out I was seeing someone else, someone from work. She was furious, out of control. She stormed out of the house, got in her car, and I didn't stop her. I didn't try. She was drunk, angry. I knew she shouldn't have been driving, but I let her go." Emma's knees buckled, and she sank into a chair. "You let her die," she whispered, the horror of his confession sinking in. James's voice rose defensively. "I didn't kill her, Emma. She made that choice. But if people knew the truth back then, about our fights, about the affair, it would have ruined everything. So, yes, I covered it up. Underscore 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 underscore. Mitchell arrived at the house moments later, armed with the emails from Anna's laptop and the old police report. He walked in on Emma sobbing, James standing over her, his face pale as Mitchell approached. "Detective," James said, his voice shaky. "I know why you're here." "I think you do," Mitchell replied evenly. "Anna found out the truth about Natalie, didn't she? That's why she was planning to go public." James hesitated, then nodded. "She wanted to tell everyone. I begged her not to, told her it would destroy the family, her mother, everything. But she wouldn't listen." Mitchell's gaze hardened. "So you let Peter handle it?" James looked stunned. "No. I didn't ask Peter to do anything. I didn't know I didn't know it would end like this." Mitchell stepped closer. "Whether you asked him or not, your lies set everything in motion. Anna died trying to uncover the truth you buried. And Peter," he paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. "Peter is the one paying for it." Underscore 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 underscore. In the weeks that followed, Peter Carter was charged with manslaughter and tampering with evidence. His confession, coupled with the physical evidence, left little room for doubt about his role in Anna's death. But the case against James Carter was more complex. While he wasn't directly involved in the murder, his actions, both past and present, cast a long shadow over his family. Public opinion turned sharply against him, and his business crumbled under the weight of the scandal. Emma Carter, broken but determined, filed for divorce and moved out of Westwood. She refused to let James's lies define her or the memory of her daughter. Underscore 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 underscore. The Carter Hughes family, once the epitome of success and unity, was now a cautionary tale whispered about in Westwood's coffee shops and town meetings. Anna's death had exposed not just the flaws in their family but the devastating consequences of secrets and silence. Detective Mitchell, though relieved to see justice served, couldn't help but wonder, had Anna's death been avoidable? Could someone have stepped in before it was too late? The answers to those questions were now buried alongside Anna Hughes. Underscore 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 underscore. What do you think about this tragic story? Do you believe Peter deserved the punishment he received, or was he simply a victim of circumstance? And what about James Carter? Should he face consequences for his lies, even if he wasn't directly responsible for Anna's death? We want to hear your thoughts. Share your opinions in the comments below and join the conversation. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gripping tales.